This week, we are back to talk about the long rumored but finally confirmed Xbox Series S, and I got a little bit of Amazon and Apple news. So let's go ahead together as a people and check it out. And welcome to another sensational Saturday. This is Mike, and this is Mike Text It Out. And guess what we're doing today? Well, of course, it's Saturday, so we're going to talk about some news, primarily the Xbox Series S, which I haven't covered too much on the channel because everything up until this point have been rumors. And Microsoft already confirmed way back in the day, like a year or two ago, that they were going to have more than one SKU of the Xbox Series. Like the Series X was just going to be one in the series. So we already knew there was going to be another one. So we were just waiting to get that hard confirmation. But we already knew it was going to be a less powerful version of the Xbox Series X, basically about 1/3 as powerful. But it was going to cost a lot less. So earlier this week, it leaked. The pricing leaked, and a little teaser ad for the Xbox Series X leaked, showing $300. And Microsoft just hopped on it, and they were like, you know what? We're just gonna come out and confirm it right now. Yes, baby, it's real. The rumors are true. Everything you heard in life is a lie. Yes, it's real. $300 for the Xbox Series X, and they went ahead and released the official teaser, the one that already leaked anyway, but they just officially released it. And also, they confirmed the price of the Series X, which is gonna be $499. Now, I know that the Series S isn't gonna be as powerful, but I'm really focusing on this in the news story because $300 for a next generation system is crazy, especially because for the later part of this generation, we've been looking at those high-end systems, the PlayStation 4 Pro and the Xbox One X, and I think the Pro was like $400 and the One X was $500 when it came out. So looking at that, which makes sense with in line with the higher end systems. Yeah, I was expecting even the lower end one to cost $400. So for them to come out at $300, that's an exciting price point. That's a price point that's gonna drive competition, and that's what I'm looking for. Because honestly, before they announced the Series S, I was like, Microsoft's gonna have a really hard time this generation because Sony, they got the bomb lineup. Like they have a whole bunch of exciting games announced. They got the Jack and Dexter. Do they have Jack and Dexter? I'm thinking about the one game, the Rift Apart game. You know what I'm talking about. Put it on the screen. I can't remember. Anyway, that game's coming out. The Rift Apart thing. Then they got the Spider-Mans. They got the New Horizon. They showed a stronger lineup than Microsoft showed, and Microsoft's big title that they were banking everything on, which was Halo Infinite, got delayed into next year sometime. We still don't have a firm release date for Halo Infinite, so who knows when that's coming out. But the fact is, there's a large amount of gamers who don't care about Halo, who don't care about God of War, who don't care about, Horizon or any of these franchises. The games they care about? They care about their Fortnites, their Call of Duties, Maddens, NBA 2Ks, their annual franchises, and the few games that, might catch their eye, but they don't play games like that, so they're not married to one system. They're kind of that, in-between audience that's not a fanboy either. They just want to play the games they want to play. And $300 is a compelling price for someone that just wants a system to play, the few games that they play every year. Why would they need to pay $500 for an Xbox Series X or however much the PlayStation 5 is going to cost? Well, they can go ahead and get this $300 system that's going to play the same games. You can play your Fortnites, you can play Rocket League or whatever for $300. Like, yeah, it's not going to be as powerful. It's not going to have 4K. I mean, technically, it's not going to do native 4K. It can do 4K upscaled, which honestly, they probably won't even notice that big of a difference unless you have like a really nice TV or you're sitting really close to it. But it's still going to do 1440p, and it's capable of going up to 120 frames per second. So they're really driving, they're really shooting for a higher refresh rate experience. Also, Dolby came out and announced that they're going to be supporting Dolby Vision HDR gaming on the next generation console. Like, it's going to be official, not like the kind of support that it had on the previous generation Xbox. They haven't announced anything with PlayStation just yet, if that's coming to PlayStation. The reason that's exciting is, while PlayStation 4 and Xbox already do HDR, Dolby Vision is just a better version of HDR. Now, you still have to have a TV that supports Dolby Vision in order to see the difference, but Dolby Vision is better than regular HDR10, so that's also exciting. So that's also going to be a part of the whole package. Now, there is a weird caveat with the Xbox Series S, and that is, from the speculation, it's technically not as powerful as the existing Xbox One X. Now, of course, it's more powerful than a base level Xbox One and the One S, but as a result of that, it's been said that pretty much it's not going to be able to run Xbox One games as well as the One X. So that means, for instance, the example they gave in the Engadget article was on the One X right now, you can run Red Dead Redemption in 4K with HDR and stuff. On the Series S, it's going to run the same version of the game that the Xbox One S would run. It's going to run a little bit better. It's still going to have HDR and all that stuff, but you're not going to be able to get native 4K out of it like you would on the previous generation One X. Is it confusing? Yes, it is. Because you would think that the next generation system would be able to do the same thing as any of the previous generation systems, but being that this is a cheaper system and it's almost as powerful as the One X, but think about this. The One X was like a $500 system when it came out. This is going to be $300. So, and technically it has less memory than the One X. So it's kind of understandable. I think that they want to provide a consistent experience for the Xbox One players and not try to have the system struggle to run Xbox One games at 4K when it's not really designed to do that. So yeah, that is kind of weird. But other than that, I think that this is still going to be a compelling system for a lot of people that just don't care. Like, you know, if you have a kid and they're just like, I don't care, I just want to be able to play Fortnite and, you know, whatever games they play with their friends. And it's like, okay, well, I'm going to get this one that's $300. I think the Xbox One S is what's going to give Microsoft this shot at this generation. If it has any shot in making a dent against Sony at all, it's going to be that cheaper Xbox, because I don't think that Sony is going to be able to release anything to match that price point. Now, I do think that them coming out at $500 for the Series X is also going to put Sony in a position where they pretty much have to charge $500 for the PlayStation 5. I think that at max price-wise, I want to come in at the Series X so I can see the PlayStation 5, the disc version being $500, and then the all digital being like $450 or $400. It's still not as cheap as the Series S, but at least it gives them like a cheaper box to try to compete and edge out Microsoft. I think that this generation is really going to be interesting. I think that the initial sales are going to be weird because, like, people who are buying these systems, there's really no games that are coming out that really weren't buying these systems. So it's going to be really weird. The early numbers are going to be interesting just to see, because I think the early numbers are definitely going to be fanboys, to see who's hopping on the bandwagon and going out and buying these systems. I do think that PlayStation will have an early lead, but we'll have to see what Microsoft does in the future. All right, I know I've been sticking to one story recently, but this is one of those weeks where I got to cover a few more things. So we're just going to quickly hop over to Amazon because they've been on fire lately, literally on fire. So basically there's an investigation on Amazon Basic products right now. So if you're not familiar with Amazon Basic, if you're shopping on their website, you might see like a cheaper product. Like they kind of sell everything, like, you know, HDMI cables, phone chargers, battery chargers, keyboards, mops and buckets. Get the mop, you know what I mean? They sell all that under the Amazon Basics brand, and it's like their super cheap value brand. Well, apparently it might not be safe. So there's been a lot of reports, apparently, consumer safety reports, where a lot of their products have been catching on fire. Things like battery chargers, you know, charging cables. I'm actually using an Amazon Basics HDMI to micro HDMI cable right now to record this video to my Atmos Ninja, my external recorder, which I'm going to be replacing it soon. But the reason I bought it is it's cheap, and that's kind of the point. I fall into the same trap of buying stuff that's cheap, but you want to get the stuff that's better quality at the same time. Like, for instance, I know Anker, I buy a lot of their stuff because they make good quality stuff and it's lower price, but Amazon Basics kind of sucks. And I'm not just saying that because this is coming out now. I've bought a lot of stuff Amazon Basics wise, charging cables, mainly charging cables before, and HDMI cables. And for sure, within a year, each charging cable that I bought and each HDMI cable I bought has failed. Now, it hasn't caught on fire or anything, but it's just generally failed. So I just avoid buying them when possible. Like this cable I've had for about 2 years, but I didn't have to use it until recently because I just started recording to my external recorder. So this is the only micro HDMI cable or micro HDMI to HDMI cable that I have. So I'm fine with using it, but I'm definitely going to replace it soon because it's not reliable, and I need something that's going to be more reliable to, you know, record my videos and stuff on. The one big thing too was their microwaves. So they have the voice enabled or voice assistant enabled microwave with the Amazon Echo built in. There's been a lot of reports of fires with that. So of course, Amazon is reassuring everybody that all their products are safe. That was pretty much their quote. Well, all of our products are safe. Well, that's good. Of course you're going to say that. So I would say, you know, definitely keep an eye out for the reports of this stuff. But I just generally, regardless of whether they're catching on fire or not, catching on fire is bad. But from my experience, their products kind of suck. The Amazon basic stuff sucks. I'm going to go ahead and say it. I've not had good luck with it. I've had at least 4 cables, various charging and HDMI cables, fail on me over the last few years. So I'm going to just say that maybe their stuff isn't quite up to the quality of even like a Walmart brand cable, like an On brand. Garbage is garbage. I'm just saying. And in my final story for today, I just also wanted to briefly touch on this whole situation with Apple versus game streaming, because I covered this a few weeks ago. The reason why Apple is not allowing apps like xCloud and Stadia and GeForce Experience, those game streaming services, on their platform. And it was basically like their guidelines are thing has to be an individual app and it has to be rated by Apple to have a score up there, blah, 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 blah. So basically each game in the streaming service would have to be its own app, which is crazy because think about Netflix. Would you want to go on Netflix on your phone and then you open up Netflix and you got to download an app for each movie you want to watch? No, you don't want to do that. It's the same thing with the game streaming service. No one wants to do that. So Apple finally updated their policy kinda to be like, you know, well, they can do like a curated type store where kind of like how their game store is laid out, where you have all the apps. So they'd be like, you know, xCloud, and you open up the xCloud part of the app store and it has all the games laid out, but they're still individual apps, and then you would download that app. So like, let's say if you want to play or not Halo Infinite, because that's never coming out. If you wanted to play Halo Master Chief Collection or, you know, Destiny 2, you still download the individual app. It would just kind of be under its own like xCloud game store. So they still want each game to be an individual app, but it can be curated into like its own little mini store type thing, like collection, I guess. And it's still stupid. It's still not any better than what they were saying before. They're just still trying to get their way without admitting that they're wrong. And Microsoft's pretty much come out and be like, this is still a bad customer experience. They haven't 100% said that they're not going to move forward with putting it on the App Store still, but they did say that they're kind of like, this is still a bad experience. So I don't think that any of them are going to budge, like Google or Microsoft or Nvidia, because it's stupid. It's still stupid. Like, why would I need to have a Stadia version of Destiny 2 and an xCloud version of Destiny 2 and a GeForce Experience version of Destiny 2 separate to download? It's like, oh, I downloaded the wrong one. Now I gotta start all over again. Like, the whole point of streaming games is supposed to be that it's fast and convenient, not that you have to download an app for each game that you're gonna play. And then of course, games are gonna come and go from the store, and it wouldn't even make sense to have the app anymore. Like, what are you gonna do? Launch the app and it's like, oh, this game's no longer available. Do you gotta delete the app from your phone? It is overall a bad user experience, and Apple, they need to change their policies. It's really stupid. Like, you can't have Netflix up here and, you know, Amazon service, movie streaming services, and they're allowed to, you know, list movies up there, but a game streaming service can't do the same thing. I don't know, but I personally am tired of waiting to Apple, so I took my own route to try out xCloud on mobile. Make sure to subscribe, because on Tuesday, I'll be back with that video, and we'll see how that experience is. But until then, if you enjoyed this video, make sure to tell a friend, tell a coworker, like, share, and subscribe, and always do at least 2 things at the same time. Peace. You should do like a Mike Text It Out app where you have to download each part of the video. Like, it's a separate app. Like, the intro will be this app, and then it'll have like one story, a separate app, and each week you have to just download